November 6, Romeo Bravo Papa to Santa Clarita Station.
We're standing by for the 8 o'clock net, but go ahead quickly. KC6ESW.
K6EFW, November 6, Romeo Bravo Papa.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm just testing a new handheld Baofeng Mini in my RV. I'm in Paso Robles. Just wondering how I'm coming through.
Making it, no problem at all. A little noise, but you're totally copyable. Not a problem.
Yeah, thank you. I'm using Papa 34. Yeah, it seems to be working okay from here.
Very good. Your Baofeng is working fine. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stand by. The net's going to start in about 2 minutes. 7-3s, and I'll look forward to hearing you on the net. KC6ESW, clear.
Yeah, thank you. November 6, Romeo Bravo Papa, clear.
Well, good evening, Papa System. This is Darren, WD6USN, the Papa System. Saturday Night Roundtable is about to begin, so let's kick it off from the Mexican border in San Diego to San Luis Obispo, from the Channel Islands to Las Vegas, Nevada, and around the world via the internet. You're listening to the Papa System's most unique net, the Saturday Night Roundtable, on the fastest growing system here in Southern California. Like I said, my name here is Darren. My call sign is WD6USN, and I will be your net controller tonight, so please direct all your transmissions to me. We call this the Saturday Night Roundtable because it's the one night a week we cover subjects other than ham radio. It's formatted as a roundtable discussion. You can check in, and we'll have discussions about various subjects, and you're welcome to recheck and come back if you have any additional comments once everyone has had a chance to check in. Please note that we pause for any emergency traffic. So with that said, any emergency traffic, please come now. All right, hearing none. If you're a visitor to the Papa System tonight, we love visitors. I invite you to go to papasys.com and register as a guest. That's PAPASYS.com. And with your guest registration, you'll be granted 45 days of free access to the Papa system. At the end of this complimentary one-time 45-day guest access period, we do ask you to become a subscribed member if you do want to continue to use the Papa system. With that said, however, all amateurs are always welcome to participate in weekly Papa System nets regardless of membership status. All right, folks, I'm a little rusty on live streaming, I can't lie, but it is up and streaming. We've got the Halloween theme here in the Ham Shack. If you want to see what it's like to live stream alongside the analog repeater system and all the buttons, things that I got going on, you can swing by the YouTubes and search for the Papa System Saturday Night Roundtable. There you'll find the channel and the live stream there, and you'll be able to comment. I see nine people on the live stream. So once let me get through the announcements, and then I'll talk a little bit more about how the live stream works alongside the net on the analog repeater system, and then we'll get into the topics for the night. So with that said, the Papa Newsroom is fired up. Stand by for the latest. Let's see, it's the new week, so a whole new set of announcements coming at you.
Here are the Papa System weekly announcements for the week of October 13th. The Papa San Diego Luncheon. Papa will be meeting in person on Saturday, October 18th at 11 a.m. at Cocina del Charro in San Marcos. Cocina del Charro has arranged for a special buffet, $24. Including tax and tip. We will need a minimum of 25 attendees for this price. Please purchase your buffet meal tickets via PayPal on the Papa website 1 week ahead of the luncheon. We will have ham license testing at the San Diego Luncheon at 9:45 a.m. Please pre-register on the Papa webpage or go to http://ham.studysessionsk6sml. For any questions regarding the test session, please contact Patrick, K6SML by email, papatesting@live.com. Quick Start Program. The Papa Quick Start Program, in conjunction with all of our test sessions, is a benefit for newly licensed technician class ham radio operators. The program is designed to get newly licensed technicians on the air quickly and teach them how to communicate with fellow hams on the radio. You will receive a pre-programmed UHF handheld radio at no cost to you. The Papa system will assist with technical and operational issues and help you make your first radio contact. You are encouraged to join the new Hams Net Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. with Steve, KI6LOV, and connect with fellow amateur radio operators. More information is available on the Papa website and at all of the test sessions. Papa HF Net. On the third Sunday morning of each month at 8 a.m., our host, David KO6BAF, will be calling for check-ins on 40 meters, at or about 7.210 MHz. If you are interested, click the link to add your name and call sign to David's Papa HF Net check-in list on the Papa website. Papa Simplex Exercise. Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. Please join Evo KO6BKX and the Simplex team. They will be on from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. 2-meter FM analog on 146.535 MHz. All this information and a whole lot more can be found on the Papa website at papasys.com.
All right, folks, that's the latest and greatest from the Papa Newsroom. As always, it's busy in the Papa system. And looking forward to the San Diego Luncheon. I'll definitely be at that one. Wasn't able to make the ones today, but I heard they went really well. I had the great opportunity of being up on some mountaintops and doing some tower climbing once again today. Love doing that for the Papa system. And boy, you can't beat the views from the mountaintops when you're up a tower. So we did a little bit of preventative maintenance on Papa's 20, 21, and 41, and the list of things to fix and fine tune is always large. So we're making our ways around and getting to it. So, all right, and let's see. Anyone else before I kick things off? Are there any other announcements before the net? Go ahead and please come now. All right, sounding quiet out there. No crickets tonight. Bob wouldn't let me have them. So let's get ready to kick the net off. Once again, I see 23 viewers on the live stream. Fantastic, guys. Looking forward to it. The way the live stream works, guys, so everything is normal as usual on the analog repeater systems, and you can listen to the net that way. Or you can fire up your computer and listen to the net live on YouTube. Like I mentioned, it's if you search out the Papa System Saturday Night Roundtable, you'll find the channel there, and the live stream is up and running, and you can click on it, and there's a comment section there. So you can't speak on the live side of things, but you can comment. And the way I will work it is I'll kind of go back and forth. Now, my recommendation to you is don't have both volumes up. Pick one or the other, because there's going to be a delay. And depending on your internet service provider, that delay could be quite a bit, upwards of 10 to 15 second delay. So my recommendation is listen to the radio, watch the YouTube, but when you're on the radio, make sure you have the volume down so we're not hearing the feedback. So I will take a bunch of check-ins. We will comment about the topic, and then every once in a while I'll swing back over to the YouTube comment section and read comments there. Commenters on the YouTube live stream can also comment about things that the check-ins are talking about on the repeater system. So back and forth, and that's a cool way to interact. We've even had some non-hams on the live stream able to comment by typing and talk to us that way. So, and it's encouraged a few to go out and get their license. So pretty cool aspect to the Papa System Saturday Night Roundtable. I don't live stream every Saturday. In fact, it's been a couple of months since I've live streamed, so feeling a little rusty, but we'll get through it. Having some fun. Hope you guys are waving to the camera, and we're at 26 viewers on the live stream. So let me reset, and I will get to the topic du jour. All right, so I've been really working hard trying to find a way to do an interview, but my topic or my person of choice to kick off the interview is not available this week. So we're postponing the interview. I know I told you guys last week that I'm going to kind of roll out the interview portion of the Saturday Night Roundtable, but we'll get to it. For tonight, just a standard net. Well, I guess nothing on Saturday night is too standard, but I'm going to have two topics for you tonight. I think it'll be fun to kind of listen to everyone's thoughts on this. Once again, this is everything other than ham radio. So first topic for tonight is going to be, if you could travel back to any decade, what decade would it be and why? And the follow-up question would be, what is something from your childhood that kids today wouldn't understand? Should be fun. I think we're going to get various topics from various decades. I always felt I was born in the wrong decade, so looking forward to hearing what you guys think, what your thoughts are on the topic, and then we'll kick things off. So with that said, I'm going to start taking some check-ins. Like I said, let's do analog repeater system first. Let's take it one at a time here. Well, not one at a time. We'll do in blocks of 10. Papa repeaters 1 through 10. Give me that call sign phonetically and your first name as well. 1 through 10. Come now.
Whiskey Tango 6 Tango, Brian.
Kilo November 6, Mike Romeo Golf, Chris.
Kilo Echo 6, November Golf, Charlie, Mary and Ramona Hills.
Kilo Delta 6, Lima Bravo, Logan on Papa 4.
Kilo India 6, Lima Oscar Victor.
November 6, Hotel Alpha Lima, Hal, Papa 9.
All right, that's a good start. Let's open it up to Papa repeaters 1 through 20. 1 through 20, come now.
Kilo Mike
Charlie, India, Victor, Aeronautical, Mike, over.
Aircraft coming in from Palm Springs to San Bernardino here just before the net came on, so you may want to call him.
All right, yep, I caught him. That Kilo Mike 7 station. Come back one more time and see if I can break you out of the static.
I apologize about that, guys. Kilo Mike 7, Charlie, India, Victor, Aeronautical. First name is Mike, over.
All right, Mike, I got you on that one. I tell you what, I'll probably come to you first since I have an aviation background and I know you're probably busy up there. And let me finish taking the check-ins. We'll take you first on the list to get your check-in done and out of the way so you can focus on the more important things of keeping that thing flying. All right, the station that doubled with Mike, the aeronautical station, the double, come now. All right, maybe not. Let's keep the check-ins coming. 1 through 30. 1 through 30. Come now.
Kilo, Oscar, 6, Hotel, Romeo, X-Ray, Gary.
All right, I got you, Ellen, and I got you, Gary. Gary, can I get that call sign one more time? I should know it by now. Come back one more time.
Kilo, Oscar, 6, Hotel, Romeo, X-Ray, KO6, HRX.
All right, got it on that one. All right, all analog, come now.
Kilo, Oscar 6, Kilo, Papa Zulu, Andy.
All right, got you, Andy. Let's open it up to the internet. Anyone on the digitals, Echolink, or All-Star, come now.
Jeff, All-Star.
All right, Jeff on All-Star. I didn't catch a call sign with it. Can you come back one more time?
Kilo, Oscar 6, Juliet, Charlie, Alpha. Jeff.
All right, Jeff, whatever All-Star node you're using, back that gain down because you are blowing eardrums off and you're deviating. So give you plenty of time to see if you can bring the audio gain down a little bit. All right, I'm going to kick off the list. And like I said, I'm going to take our aeronautical station first and then hang tight, Brian, and then I'll go to the top of the list and hit you up. So let's go to Mike. Kilo Mike 7, Charlie India Victor. Welcome to the net.
Kilo Mike 7, Charlie, India, Victor, Aeronautical. We're about 65 miles east of Palm Springs. We're on the Papa, I believe it's the 1-6 system, into the Palm Springs area. We're at 2,000 feet, Cessna 150 westbound on our way to San Bernardino.
Well, that's fantastic, Mike. I couldn't resist to get your check-in first and hear you. Not many nets can say they've taken a check-in from somebody who is airborne. So, and as somebody who spent a career in aviation, that's right up my alley. So I won't make you answer the questions. It's good to just have your check-in. I'll pass it back to you one last time before I move on down the list if you have anything else for the net. All right, doesn't sound like it. All right, Mike, have a great rest of your flight. Be safe out there, and we look forward to future check-ins from being airborne. All right, let's go to the top of the list here. Let's go to Brian, Whiskey Tango 6 Tango, looking for what decade would you go back to, and something from
something that kids nowadays don't know what they really understand nowadays. Hard work, I think. I don't know, but that could be me. I'm only 40, so but maybe I'm past that generation too. nowadays don't understand, but who knows? Maybe just become an old grumpy guy. Who knows?
All right, Mike, we lost you for quite a bit there. Didn't get quite a bit of your check-in. I think you're probably getting out of range of whichever repeater you're trying on. I think you were on 18 for a while, but we missed most of that, unfortunately. Let me give it back to you one more time before I move on to my list here to see if we can catch you. Back to you, Mike, if you're hearing us.
Yeah, sorry about that, sir. Yes, newly appointed ham, Kilo Mike 7, Charlie India Victor, and I've had my technician certificate for about a month now, and I fly for the airline full time, and I'm just doing this for fun, and it's great making a lot of contacts from the air, so I appreciate the accommodations. This is my first formal check-in on a net, and we're on our way to San Bernardino, and it's a beautiful night up here. The winds are light and bearable. I'm at 6,000 feet, and the temperature's about 30 degrees, let's see here, 24 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's 24 degrees centigrade. It's kind of dark up here in the cockpit, but yeah, I hope you guys have a good night, and KM7 Charlie India Victor will be monitoring.
All right, Mike, thanks for the check-in. It's also a first for me as a net controller taking an aeronautical station, so great first on both sides, and be safe out there. Have a safe rest of your flight, and we look forward to future check-ins from you. All right, once again, my name here is Darren. WD6USN is my call, and we're talking about if you could travel back in time, what would be your favorite decade and why? And then what is something from your childhood that kids today just wouldn't understand? All right, let's start it off at the top of my list. Brian, Whiskey Tango 6 Tango, welcome to the Saturday Night Roundtable.
Thanks, Darren. This is Brian, Whiskey Tango 6 Tango in Glendale. Thanks for doing all the maintenance stuff today and keeping us on the air. I know everybody really appreciates that. When I think of my childhood, I think of technology. Like kids don't understand adjusting the rabbit ears or payphones. In fact, probably don't even understand rotary phones. I made a point of having my kid try that out when he was little. But the thing that really is missing is that little CD thing on the AM dial, and in fact all the civil defense signs on buildings that used to say, what to do in case of an emergency. As far as my favorite decade, I have to say the 80s. 2180, when the world finally got its act together. Oh, that's the future. Anyway, back to you, Whiskey Tango 6 Tango.
All right, Brian, some very valid ones there. Adjusting the rabbit ears, I chuckled with that one. Yeah, my kids wouldn't have any idea what that thing would be above the television. They're all about the streams. And yeah, there's not many payphones. I did see one not too long ago. I don't remember where it was at, but I was a little shocked that payphones do exist from time to time. I don't think they're working. I didn't pick up the handheld to see if it was working. But all right, Brian, thanks for checking in tonight, and don't be afraid to stop on back or swing on by the live stream and comment more over there. Let's see. Let's move on to Chris. Kilo November 6, Mike Romeo Golf. Welcome to the net.
Good evening, everyone. So the question, I would go back to before I was born, 1960s, because that's when it was like part of the heyday of motorcycles and when motocross kind of took off in 67 in the U.S. The first race was. From there, what kids don't understand nowadays, I would say, so when I was growing up, it was like just when cell phones was kind of starting-ish, but growing up on a farm, if I broke a tractor, I'd either have to field fix it, or I'd have to walk miles to find a phone from a household, and like have to knock on their door and politely ask them to be able to call the ranch house so that somebody could come pick me up, say if it was before noon or right lunchtime, because I'd be in a field all by myself until lunchtime was or the end of the day was. So, and downtime isn't a thing that you want to do on a farm. So nowadays with cell phones, it's like, oh, emergency repairs are so quick and easy. But I did a whole lot of field repairs, so just got mechanically minded by that. So thanks for the net, KN6 MRG.
All right, Chris, thanks for checking in and sharing those. I also agree. I don't think I was born in the right decade or the right generation. Like I mentioned when we kicked off the net, I did a career in aviation and deployed on ships with tactical fighters, jets, and F-18s, and you name it. I've been around it and near it, and nothing impresses me more than the old radial engines, the P-51s, the Corsairs. I am a World War II buff. Love the radial engine aircraft, and I just think they were, much more impressive to me anyway. So I would say, yep, I would go back to the World War II era and see enjoy some of those airplanes for me. So all right, thanks again, Chris, for checking in. We'll keep on moving down. I have Kilo Echo 6 November Golf Charlie. I believe it was Marianne. Welcome to the net. Uh-oh, did we lose Marianne? Am I transmitting? I am transmitting. Kilo Echo 6, November Golf Charlie, I believe it was. Did I get that right? All right, well, I'll circle that one. Maybe we'll circle back, see if she pops back on. Let's go over to my good buddy Logan, Kilo Delta 6, Lima Lima Bravo. Logan, welcome to the net.
Good evening, Darren, and everybody on the net. Let me make sure, am I making it okay, Darren?
You sound marvelous.
Okay, very good. So this is Logan, Kilo Delta 6, Lima Lima Bravo, and I'm coming in on Saddle Peak. And as far as the decade or period that I like, I tried to answer that question, and I sort of came up with the mid-'80s to the mid-'90s, but actually it's not really about the time period. I've found that I really enjoyed becoming aware of the world in the sort of in the late 60s. I loved the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's all been good, but the mid-'80s to the mid-'90s just stand out because that was when I was getting not only freedom, but actually kind of learning things, doing things that I didn't really even know I would get to do, and making a lot of really good friends. And it's basically just about sort of the time of in my life for the sort of maximum growth. And I still have friends from that period. And so anyway, but honestly, it's wherever you find yourself, whatever time frame. I do agree. The P-51 Mustang is just an amazing piece of machinery. I'll say that. Let me reset. Okay. So yeah, I have. There's a lot of stuff that I could say. I mean, well, let me just say this. I'm old, and one way or you can be sure, you can tell that I'm old, is that I often think, or I've often found myself thinking, that kids today would not have survived my childhood. I mean, it's impossible to contrast. The kind of self-reliance, and we fixed things. I don't know, we knew how to do stuff, but we also had the freedom and opportunity to just run out and do stuff that kids today do not have. Let me reset. So rather than piling on, it occurred to me a good thing to mention is that the many times over the years that I have had, with nieces, nephews, children growing up that I knew, there have been times when I found myself sort of trying to explain something or teach them something that they just didn't seem to get, didn't have any interest in. And, every now and then, maybe even years down the road, I'll hear them having a conversation with someone and explaining the thing that I thought they didn't get. And it just blow me away sometimes. And another funny thing is I've had a number of kids come back and ask me about some guitar lick from Eric Clapton or the Beatles or something, and realize that they weren't hopelessly lost in down in a rabbit hole of really bad, modern, more recent music, but they actually had some taste, in my opinion. Anyway, I'll quit rambling. Great to hear you, Darren, and everybody out there, and I'll be listening to the rest of the net. This is Logan, KD6LLB. Back to you, Darren.
All right, Logan, thank you for always being a regular and having so much to our topics each Saturday night. I'm going to go with you on the 80s. I think the 80s, as far as music goes, that's what I often find myself listening on my drives or my commutes. The 80s rock channels or streaming some kind of 80s. So I'll agree with you there, and I love it when like my kids, artists that they love today, when those artists do collabs with artists that were from our time frame, 80s, 70s, and they've never heard of that artist, but they think that their artist is going to give their clout to that artist from the 70s, and it's like, oh boy, are you mistaken. So, all right, Logan, thanks again for checking in, and don't be shy on the live stream if you're near a computer. Let me circle back to the live stream, folks, and let's catch up and see what's going on. I haven't really mentioned anything yet, so let's go to the top of the list here on the live stream. Mikey K says this is cool. KJ7 India Yankee Charlie, thank you for jumping on the live stream there, and Mikey, and being a part of it. It's a good time. Ron's out there, KF4PQH. I see you, Ron. Says he's learning. That's what the Pop System's all about, and that's what the Saturday Night Roundtable is. Let's see. I would like to hear about ham radio on motorcycles. Well, Don, we don't cover ham radio topics on Saturday night, but I know pretty much every other night of the week is dedicated to ham radio, so I'm sure they'll be happy to answer your questions on how to get your radio working on motorcycles. I know we have plenty of riders out there that would be happy to answer your questions. My buddy Bob, W6CJX, is out there on the live stream. How come you have more people on the live chat than I have checking in on the Great Outdoors net? Now, that's not true, Bob. I've been on your nets, and you get a ton of check-ins, too. But if you want to do a live stream on that, I'll be more than happy to help you out. I see Jeff's out there, KC6WTN, on the live chat, checking in from Simi Valley, and he's monitoring analog. Yeah, thanks again, Jeff. And I think you're on my list to get to, aren't you? Yep, you're on there. I think so. Let's see. Gary's out there. Gary, I'm getting to you. Let's see who else is on the live stream. Mikey K says he's trying to get somebody that doesn't have their ham license. All right. All right. I'm going to stop there on the live stream. There's a couple more comments, but we'll circle back and get to those again. Let's keep moving on the analog side of things. Let's get out to my buddy out in his cabin. Hopefully we're keeping him entertained out there. KI6LOV Steve from the cabin. Good to hear you, buddy. Welcome to the net.
Well, good evening, Darren, and everybody out here on the Saturday Night Roundtable. This is Steve out at the cabin, KI6LOV. And, yeah, it's very entertaining. And I'm just hoping that one of these weekends, when you do a live stream, I'll be at home where I can check it out on the computer. But, yeah, I have something nobody's mentioned. WTN and Logan have kind of stolen my thunder on a couple of subjects. But I'll break and I'll be right back. When I was a child, all those many years ago, there suddenly something occurred, and a satellite was launched, and everyone was amazed that the Sputnik was circling the Earth. There was only one satellite in orbit around the Earth. Can you imagine that? People these days cannot understand a world before satellites, and so that's that's kind of interesting right there. But as far as I love the 80s and into the 90s, but there's something else that came up. If any of us could go back to a certain decade, would we make a different decision about some choice we had? Well, I'll tell you what, there's a couple that I might have made, but if I did, I might not be here right now talking with you, so I'm glad I didn't. This is KI6LOV. Back to you, Darren.
Well, I agree to that, Steve, as well. I mean, there's many of decisions that are made throughout my life that you're right, could have been different, but how drastically would that have changed the trajectory of your life? So I'm with you. No regrets. I like where it ended up. I had a very great career in the military, enjoyed it immensely, and I get to continue to do it. So I'm with you. No regrets. And could you imagine? I can't imagine a time where there was only one satellite. When you watch SpaceX putting up, it seems like weekly they're putting up satellites. So I think there's a website out there that shows you all the satellites that are orbiting the Earth in low Earth orbit, and it's quite a lot of them. So, all right, Steve, be safe out there. Be safe on your trip back, and we look forward to hearing your check-in tomorrow night and hearing about, well, it sounds like you've been busy out there working hard, so we look forward to hearing you tomorrow night. All right, let's get to another regular here on the Saturday Night Roundtable, N6HAL. Hal, welcome to the net.
N6HAL, Hal. Thank you, Darren. Thanks again for doing the net and doing the live stream. It's always fun. Great to see you in that fantastic ham shack you got there. The decade I would like to go back to, I think, would be like, I'm going to get my age here, the 60s. Those were my high school years, my sport years, dating, girlfriend, dances, drive-ins, and the music. And it's when I had the most fun. I have many great memories from that decade and before and after. I'm more into the 50s, 60s, and some of the 70s than any of the more recent years. I would do it all over again. I wouldn't necessarily change anything, but it'd be so great to go through all that again. Great memories. I think the thing that kids today might not understand has to do with clothing for the guys in school, back in elementary school days. The guys all wore blue jeans with black loafers with a penny in the buckle area and white T-shirts with rolled-up sleeves. And that was pretty much the uniform of the day for the boys back in those days. And I don't think they'd understand the term going steady. It was, my young years were great. Teen years, military life, working. I just had fun doing them all, and it's been a great life, and I wouldn't change any of it. Back to the net. November 6th, Hotel Alpha Lima. Thanks, Darren.
All right, Hal, some great ones there. You mentioned the drive-in movie theater. Boy, there's not many left. In fact, there's few and far between, although my son did ask me the other day, he was going to one, and he wondered if I had a portable FM radio so that, they broadcast through a FM radio station now instead of having to hang a speaker on your window of your car. They've modernized it a little bit, but there's not many of those out there. And apparently there was one that he and his friends went to, so I had to dig out a little portable FM radio for him. He had no idea how to use it. I even had to show him. Very good, Hal. Again, thanks for always being a regular and bringing up some really good ones. I love the uniform of the day. Sounded like Reese Lightning. Okay, let's keep on moving down the list here. I've got Gary next, KO6HRX. Gary, welcome to the net.
Thanks, Darren. Let's see. I'm going to say it's probably the mid-'60s through the mid-'70s. That was probably the best part of my life. dealing with high school, getting married. Well, maybe everyone doesn't enjoy that, but anyway, I do. And having the children, no regrets on any of it. I wouldn't change any of it. A lot of it's been challenging through my entire life, but that's just the way it is. Break. And as far as things go, being in Chicago, everything on the houses are close. So my first thing that I would say that they wouldn't remember would be delivering newspapers. I was in grade school delivering the local neighborhood newspaper, pulling a red flyer wagon. Then after that, I moved on to the Chicago Sun-Times and Tribune when I got into high school, pulling a cart first thing early in the morning, and then in the afternoon, riding a bicycle and delivering newspapers. Anyway, I'm going to pass it back to you, Darren. Net Control, this is KO6HRX.
All right, Gary, thanks for checking in. The old paper route. Yeah, that's a good one. You know, they still throw papers on my yard. I don't know if you guys get them, but they're not newspapers anymore. They're just junk mail ads, and it's not quite the paper. I think most newspapers have gone real digital these days. So, yeah, kids don't remember what it was like to have a paper route, and you have to knock on the door and go collect the monthly dues for the newspaper. That's a good one. Awesome, Gary. Thanks for checking in and always being a regular on Saturday nights here. Let's take a quick peek back in the chat. I see it moving quite along here. Let me see where I left off. Let's see. It looks like somebody's going to help Don out with the question he had about radios on a motorcycle. So that's great. Chris B's going to help him out. That's what I love about the live chat. You know, people helping people in the live chat. Chuck says, "Happy birthday, USN! 250 years." Absolutely. Hopefully, you guys heard the Midway up on the radios today. India 6 India whiskey. Gosh, I got the call right. But yeah, it's good to hear them out there. I spent 30 years in the Navy, so that birthday is near and dear to my heart, and that'll be on Monday. So, happy birthday, Navy! All right, let's go move on down the list here. We're up to Ellen, Kilo 6 Delta Victor, another regular here on Saturday night. I'm sure she's going to have a great one. Ellen, welcome to the net.
Thank you, Darren. Great topic. If I had to go back in time to a different part of my life, I wouldn't go back into anything prior to the 1960s because there were no women's rights to speak of. In fact, I had to have my dad or my husband sign for me to get a credit card. So we'll just draw a line right there and say, if I had to go back, I'd go back into the 70s. I was fully on my own. I could afford a car and a place to live and all my food. And I was working in a very exciting field for the civil service overseas. And life was extraordinarily good. Things have changed since then, as we all know. But what would kids not understand today? Just go to the grocery store today. Back then, there was Dinty Moore stew and Chef Boyardee for the prepared meals. Everything else you had to take home and cook. There wasn't much except pizza, maybe some pizzas. But that's one thing that's definitely changed drastically since I grew up. And the last thing I just wanted to offer out there that's totally gone away is getting home by the time the street lights come on. And I grew up really independent because it was the nature of the culture. Your mom and dad might have been off doing other things, and you get home from school, change into your play clothes. Oh, yeah. You want to talk about a dress code. When I was in high school, girls had to get on their knees, and they had a ruler to measure how far your hem was from the floor. And if it was more than 3 inches, you were sent home. Believe me, those were the days. And pants, not even a clue. Never in school were girls allowed to wear pants. So, yeah, kids today wouldn't understand that at all. So I guess that's all I got to talk about tonight. I thank you for giving me the opportunity. It's always a joy. And I love the live stream. I'll check into it later. But you take care, Darren, and hello to everybody out there on the net. This is Ellen, Kilo 6 Delta Victor, following Gary for the first time. Back to you, Darren.
Got to get my mute button there. All right, Ellen, thank you very much for checking in and always being a great shining light here on Saturday night. and yeah, jump into the live stream side of things. It's Halloween themed in here. It's festive. Let's see what the comments. I'm all caught up on the comment section, and let's keep on moving down my list here. I know you guys have been hanging on for a little while before I start taking another round of check-ins here. Let's get to Andy. KO6 Kilo Papa Zulu. Andy, welcome to the net.
Thank you, Chief Darren. Yeah, there's my third party again going off. I apologize. But no, my decade would be had to be the 70s, because that's when I went through my 4 years of Navy, and earlier what kids would not really realize is in the 60s I was throwing hay bales up onto a wagon to where I got 3 cents a bale to toss on a wagon, and for $3 a day, 100 bales of hay, and there's 40-pound bales. That it worked you, but you know what? Made me a good man.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly, Andy. I did a little bit of farming myself when I was young. Grew up in the Northeast, and one of my first jobs was on a dairy farm. Yep, and hucking hay and shoveling, you know what, picking rock out of fields. Yeah, I agree. Some hard work, and I think back then for me, minimum wage was, I think it was $4.25 on my first job. I told that to my son, and he about lost his mind. So I agree with you, Andy. That they don't know what hard work is sometimes. But all right, thanks again for checking in, and we welcome third-party traffic of the four-legged kind anytime here on Saturday night. So it's good to hear. I believe her name is Rose. And hope you have a great rest of your night. And if you're near a computer, jump on that live stream side. Check it out over there. All right, I got one more on the list here before we start taking another round of check-ins. Let's see how Jeff, KO6 Juliet Charlie Alpha, is doing. Welcome, Jeff.
Hi, Darren. KO6 JCA. Can you get a quick volume check? I did make a change here. How am I sounding now, okay?
That was a great improvement. You're sounding just fine now.
Great, thanks for that. Yeah, I was on the Midway call this afternoon, and I heard you on your mobile check-in, and I believe that call on the Midway was NI6IW. So regarding the decade, I'd have to go with the 60s. The music, and it was a simpler time, but if I had my druthers on your time machine, I'd like to go to the future and see how this movie's going to end. But I'd say back in the 60s, looking for a payphone was a real challenge, and if you found it, you had to make sure you left the house with change in your pocket, and if you had change, you had to make sure you had enough for that long-distance call when you ran out in the middle of the call and you had to beg somebody for more change. Anyway, 7-3 all, back to net control. KO6JCA.
All right, Jeff, you are correct. NI6IW is the call for the Midway. I knew I was close. I couldn't quite remember it. Yeah, I made that check-in as I was moving from one mountaintop to another, so I think I was a little noisy, but couldn't resist checking in on the for the Navy's birthday there. So, all right, and yes, how about collect calls on those payphones? That's something the kids these days wouldn't know anything about, making a collect call and reversing charges, that kind of stuff. All right, so that brings me to the bottom of my list. My name here is Darren. WD6USN is my call, and this is the Saturday Night Roundtable, where we're covering, we got two topics for the night. It is, if you can go back in time to a decade of your choice, what decade would it be and why? And if you think about things from your childhood that kids today would have no idea how to use or what it's for, we're talking about things like that. So Let's take a quick look at the live stream. The live stream is up and running. We got about 21 people in the live stream. So, and Hal says, like the lighting, Darren, you know how you've been busy, but do you get my email a couple of weeks ago? I will check, Hal. I don't remember seeing an email from you, but my Outlook, or not, it's the Outlook account that my QRZ is linked to is kind of funky. And things get lost in junk, and I don't see it, and I've had that happen before. So if I miss something from you, Hal, I will double check tonight and see if I can find it. Let's see. John says, how is everybody? I want to back to the 1980s. Yeah, I think I like the 80s too, John, the decade of some really great music. So, all right. Couple of mentions in there. Even Steve says, if I can go back, it'd be the 80s. He said he would change his choice of music when he was blasting it through his car stereo. Yeah, my car stereo is more expensive than my actual car itself. I think we can all had those types of vehicles back in the day. All right, let's go take another round of check-ins. If you want to jump in on our topic tonight, give me your call sign phonetically as well as your first name, and we'll get you on the list and we'll get you up and called, John. So anyone, anywhere, come now.
Kilo Echo 6, Mike Alpha Echo, Larry.
Kilo Oscar 6, Delta Tango Echo, Eric.
Whiskey 6, Charlie Juliet X-Ray, Bob.
Kilo Charlie 6, Whiskey Tango November, Jeff.
All right, we got a couple more there. Don't be shy if you're hanging out there listening or you're on the live stream and want to jump in on the RF side of things. Come on over. It's nice over here. The water's warm. Give me that check-in. Come now. All right, sounding pretty quiet out there. Let's go to Larry. Haven't heard you out there, Larry, in a little while. It's good to hear you. KE6MAE. Welcome to the net.
Well, thank you, Darren. KE6MAE, Larry here. Boy, this is bringing up a lot of memories. Ellen really did a good one when she said the girls had the deal and get the length of their skirt checked and so forth. I remember I went to high school in the middle 50s. One day a couple showed up, students, him and her, and they had Bermuda shorts on, and they got kicked out of school. Can you believe? And Gary, I remember my paper route well. We started working at 13, 14, somewhere around in there, doing whatever we could to earn money. I think my first job was at 90 cents an hour as a stock boy in a market. But you go back to what era I'd like, late 60s, early 70s. I was just getting married, bought my first house. We both were doing well, both had fairly decent jobs. And it was a good time until the gas crunch hit in the middle 70s there, or the early 70s, I think 73. I just bought a Oldsmobile custom cruiser station wagon with an Oldsmobile 442 in it. And boy, that couldn't pass the gas station. You couldn't find one open. But my choice would be the late 60s and middle 70s. KE6MAE. Thanks, Darren. And where do I find the live stream? I forgot.
All right, Larry. Yeah, live stream on YouTube. If you just go into the search bar, just search Saturday night. Let's go Papa System Saturday Night Roundtable, and that'll bring you to the channel. You can find it there. And if you subscribe, and I think it will notify you as soon as I go live. I think you get an email saying there's a live going, but not quite sure on that side of things. You mentioned 60s, late 60s, early 70s. I think that was also, in my opinion, the decade of, the muscle car. And when I look back at my favorite era of vehicle, it's probably mid to late '60s, early '70s. I think towards the mid '70s that started getting a little bit just not my taste, but those late '60s, early '70s GTOs. That's kind of my thing. So I'm right there with you, Larry. All right, again, thank you for checking in, and hopefully you find over the live stream. If you get over there, jump in the chat. Let us know that you found it. Let's go over to Kilo Oscar 6 Delta Tango Echo. I didn't get the first name in there, so welcome to the net.
Thanks for that, KO6 DTE. Eric here. Fun topic tonight. I'm going to echo pretty much what Larry said. For me, the best times were the 60s into about the mid-70s. For me, that was elementary school, junior high, high school years. And at that time, you really didn't have a care in the world. It was all about having fun. And then in the 80s, adulting kicked in. But that era, for me, was probably the coolest music, the best cars, especially if you were into the muscle cars. I always wanted a GTO. When I was in my 20s, I got the GTO. And to still have it to this day, a 68 GTO. All these years later, I still have it. At any rate, something that kids would not understand today, since everybody has a cell phone in their pocket. For me, growing up, the phone was attached to the kitchen wall, and you could only go as far as the curly cord would stretch. And I don't think many kids would understand that today. At any rate, like I say, fun topic. Back to the net, KO6 DTE.
All right, Eric, I agree. Yeah, it's this has been fun. If you're watching me on the live stream, you probably see me giggling and smiling every time you guys mention something because it brings back really good memories, and it's also a little bit fun that the kids today don't get to experience that, like the long curly cord on the kitchen phone. I've got one we had. It was cutting edge at the time, but it was a remote control for the television, but it had a cord on it, and that cord was like 30 feet long, sprawled all the way down the floor of the living room, all the way to the unit at the TV. But it was a way for us to be able to sit on the couch and change the rotary dial of the channels on the TV box. So yeah, they wouldn't understand being attached to the device on their ear or in their hand. A couple people have mentioned pagers in the comments, payphones and pagers and things like that. Yep, I remember having a pager, and somebody would page you 911 with the phone number, meaning you got to get back to them right away. So, yeah, kids these days wouldn't know any of that. So, all right, let's keep on moving down my list here to my good buddy Bob, helping me in the background here as always. W6CJX, Bob, welcome to the net.
Well, good evening, Darren, and everyone on the Saturday night roundtable. I got you on the big screen, even though there's a delay, so I got the volume off on that and just listening on the analog, which is real time. And, happy birthday for the USN. Definitely. That was fun checking into the Midway this morning, and maybe this afternoon, too. I think we did. I'm just kind of nursing this darn cold here, but I think I'm doing okay. Should be able to talk. Can't breathe, but otherwise I think not too much is gonna. Are you waving to me? Hey, what's going on? There he is. It's a delay thing, a delay wave. Yeah, I was gonna say. Let's see. Some of my favorite years were probably in the late '60s to early '70s. Also, that was of course I grew up in Idlewild. And just absolutely had the greatest childhood with snow and sledding and riding my sled to the bus stop in the mornings and all that kind of stuff that not every kid gets to do. And then got into motorcycles, dirt bikes, and racing bikes here and there, and that was just my life from 68 to about 70-something. Still love it, but I don't do it anymore. Let me reset. And something that kids probably, and of course my other best time era would be in the 80s also, where I met Carolyn and we got married and lived in Lake Tahoe and all that. That was just great times, good times in the 80s. Some of the kids wouldn't understand. I still don't understand. If you remember, if anyone remembers, that'd be a good question. If anyone remembers getting SWATs in PE, I can barely remember PE, but getting SWATs in PE with that big paddle board that had a bunch of holes in it, that's major child abuse. And I can't imagine, they'd never do it now, but kids would not understand that. Get in trouble and, put your hands on the desk and bend over and get SWATs. So, all right, I'll send it back to you, Darren. I'll save my voice for tomorrow night and look forward to hearing everybody on the Outdoor Net. W6CJX, I'll send it back to you, and have a great rest of the net. W6CJX, clear.
All right, Bob, thanks for bringing up some great ones there. And you get some rest. We definitely need your voice for tomorrow, and we hope you're feeling better. And thanks for helping me with the announcement on short notice. Didn't want to bother you while you were sick. But we hope you're feeling well, and some great mentions there as well. Somebody mentioned, Gary mentioned something in the comments that I got to bring it up because I forgot all about it. I never had a ton of experience with it because it didn't happen where I lived, but when phones were party lines and you'd pick up the phone and you'd hear a conversation going on from your neighbors, that was, the beginning of party lines. That was an era that I totally forgot about, and Gary brought it up. So great. Logan says, we thought answering machines with cassette tapes were very cool when they came out. Cassette tapes in general, I showed one to my son the other day, and he's like, what is this thing, and how does it work? Unfortunately, I don't have a cassette player anymore, but I do have a couple of cassettes laying around. I remember seeing on the floor of my dad's car the 8-tracks and how far things have come. We've gone from 8-tracks to cassettes to CDs and now MP3s, and now it's just all streaming, all online. It's amazing to see how things have come along, but it's fun to reminisce about the things of the past. All right, let's go to Jeff, KC6WTN. Jeff, welcome to the net.
Thanks, Darren. Great topic tonight. I'm solid Gen X, so I'm right there with the 80s. Those were my junior high and high school years, so there's that. As far as what kids wouldn't appreciate or understand nowadays, they're all looking at their phones, and they have GPS. So if they want to go somewhere, they just type it in. But back in the day, in the 80s, we had a Thomas guide, this inch-thick book that we would carry on the floorboard of our car, and it was just nothing but maps. So that was our way of getting around town, or in other towns is, we had to pull up the Thomas guide and see where we wanted to go and find a map. Another thing is TV guide. In the day, if you wanted to watch a program, you had to use a TV guide to figure out when it was on and what channel, and you actually had to be there in person to watch it. And nowadays, everything is on demand, and that's what they're used to, is pulling stuff up on demand. So back to you, back to the net, KC6WTN.
Some great ones there, Jeff. The Thomas guide, a big one. It triggered a thought in my memory here. I was stationed overseas before cell phones were cool, and traveling overseas on the train systems, like in Hong Kong and Japan. We used to travel by landmarks because we couldn't read the signs. And before I retired, I had to go back overseas for a couple-day visit back to Japan, where I had been stationed for several years. And I was blown away at how easily they can travel through the train systems now with the phones, and how Google Maps tells you what train lines to get on, even in foreign countries. And you're right, we used to dig out the TV guide or the Thomas guide and flip the pages and try to figure out where we were on the map. And I'm right there with you, Jeff, a Gen Xer as well. And so that your check-in definitely hit home with me for sure. So, All right, that takes me to the bottom of the list here. Once again, my name here is Darren. This is you're listening to the Papa System Saturday Night Roundtable, where we are live streaming tonight's events alongside the repeater system. And if you want to check that out, you can swing by YouTube and search for the Papa System Saturday Night Roundtable, and you'll find the live stream there. Jump into the comments section, share your thoughts, and I'll read them on the air. Let's see if we'll take one last round. If anyone wants to jump in on the topic, we're talking about if you can travel back in time to a certain decade, what decade would that be and why? And then as well, a follow-up question, something from your childhood that kids just wouldn't understand how to use it today, or what it was for, or why we used it at all. That's kind of the topics tonight. It's been very amusing and got a smile on my face here. So let's take another round of check-ins. Anyone, anywhere, come now.
Take 2, KM6 AVH.
Whiskey Zero Papa Echo, Brad.
All right, we picked up 2 more. I'm going to make this the final call. If you're out there and want to jump in, now is the time. And I will not make another call after this. Last call. Last call for... no, I can't say that on the air. Last call for check-ins.
KN6NIK, check-in only.
All right, I got KN6NIK in and out. Thank you for stopping by. That will be the last check-ins, and I'll go circle back. We'll talk. We'll read some of the comments that are finalizing, and then I'll get things wrapped up here tonight. So let's go to my good buddy RJ, KM6ABH. Hope you had a great lunch out there in the valley, and welcome to the net.
Yeah, we did. It was a good turnout. First things first, next rocket launch, October 14th at 4:11 p.m. It is a classified Space Force launch. So 4:11 p.m., October 14th. The era that I would go back to is the 40s and 50s. I like the way people dressed then, the way men and women dressed, more gentleman and ladylike, I thought. And also the 50s was the birth of the hot rod that you built. You didn't go to the store and buy one. You built it. You had a 32.5 window with a Ford flathead in it, and you built it up, and that was the hot rod. Now, let me break. Next thing too is I think people had more of a work ethic. That seems to be something that is fading away, especially in the younger generations, where you didn't call in sick because your favorite team lost the night before. You know, you actually had to get up and go to work anyway and endure the fact that your team lost. And so, you know, to me, I don't know. I just grew up in that generation where if you wanted to survive, you had to go to work, and your parents didn't float you. You know, you wanted to buy a car, I had to go to work, and at 17, I paid $1,500 for my first car. You know, so that was it. So anyway, that's it. There's some other things, but I think that's about it. KM6AVH back over to net control.
Alrighty, RJ, I appreciate you coming in and checking in, and I agree. The way men dressed back in the day, it was like suit and tie every day. You definitely don't see that these days, and yeah, there's definitely been a change in the work ethic. You mentioned something about going to work when your team lost. You know, that's you got to face the music. Usually when it happened to me, it was a pending a bet that went on that the day prior or so. So you had to come and pay your bet when your team lost, whether that was wearing the opposing team's jersey for a day or a week or whatever the bet was. You had to own it. So yeah, I agree. Some things have definitely changed as far as work ethic goes. All right, RJ, thanks for filling us in on the space launches. You and Bob are always out there letting us know what's going on. And I think there was a Starship launch, if I'm not mistaken, maybe today, yesterday, I can't remember. I think ship number 11 was getting ready to go up for test. I wonder if that happened. All right, that takes me to the last check-in, and then I will go back over to the comment section, read a few comments, and then I'll start wrapping things up. Let's go to Whiskey Zero, Papa Echo. I believe it was Brad. Welcome to the Saturday Night Roundtable.
Good evening, Darren and everybody. Well, if I was going back, it'd probably be the 50s, and the main reason... Back in those days in Orange County, when you got up in the morning, the first thing you smelled was the orange blossoms in the air. That's something that's long gone. And then things kids wouldn't understand today. In the old days, you pushed a hand lawnmower and a edger to edge the lawn. There was nothing with a motor. Back to you, Darren, W0PE.
Well, fantastic. Thanks for sharing those with us today and being our last check-in to wrap up the net. You definitely wrapped it up in style. Been a really fun net, guys, and just reminiscing. I really enjoy the nets where we kind of get to talk about the days of old a little bit. And there's definitely various generations involved here with ham radio, so from Gen X and earlier on, and even some of the young bucks out there, so they get to share that. All right, let's find, or at least let's wrap up with the comment section. I see Hal says, Bob reminded me, teachers slapping you on the top of the hands with their rulers. I never had that growing up in high school, but I definitely saw generations that did, so I'm glad I missed it. I think I would have got a lot of slaps on the hands. Mikey K says, I was the remote. I just started sitting next to the TV. Yeah, I agree, Mikey. Sometimes you got to get close to change the channel. Kids these days would never know what that was like. Gary says, I'm sure the list can go on forever, but I remember the big, thick book called The Yellow Pages, and it took me a few tries to learn how to tear it in half. Well, I'm glad, Gary, you were able to figure out how to do it, because I've seen videos of it, but I never gave it a hell of a try, but good on you there. Logan chimes in and says, it's hard to believe we didn't wreck our cars all the time trying to navigate the Thomas guides. Boy, that brings distracted driving to a whole different level, right? When it's not giving you the turn-by-turn navigation. That's awesome. And then Logan also mentioned Liberty cards. It's funny you say that, because in the military, that's something that's kind of still used today. Liberty cards for those that are on duty section and things like that. So anything else in the comments here? Gary says pulling over to use a payphone, tearing out the phone book sheets, and hoping no one in the future would need it. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's great. And Larry says he had a 67 442. Wish he still had it. That's a nice car, Larry. Yeah, definitely. And he needed all 4 counties on the Thomas Guide for work. That's awesome. And then Chris B says, I still get to enjoy orange blossoms, thankfully. That's awesome, Chris. And I really do appreciate those of you guys that jumped into the comment section and shared your thoughts alongside those that were checking in on the analog repeater system. These live streams are really fun for me to work. Bit of a, you probably see me on the live, moving around and pushing buttons. There's a lot going on, but I got some help in the background from a couple good buddies that help keep an eye on the system for me and enable me to pull this off. So let me reset, and I will shut things down here for the night. All right. Again, guys, thanks for another fun, successful live stream. And I want to thank Cecil, all the other net controllers, the Papa system, and everyone who works so hard behind the scenes to maintain and keep things working on the system here. It's definitely a pleasure. I enjoy doing it from the net control standpoint and working on the mountaintops. So we keep things rolling. So. Also want to thank the Papa System for allowing me to be the net controller tonight, and I want to wish everyone a safe rest of your weekend. With that, I'm going to call the net closed. I will keep the live stream open for a few more minutes if anyone wants to chat there. We'll keep it open, and if anyone on the repeater system didn't get to check that out, you can jump over there real quick before I shut that one down. All right, I'm going to now return the Papa System back to normal amateur use. Thanks for a fun net, guys. Have a great weekend.
W6CJX, W6CJX, KI6LOV calling.